My girlfriend posted, "When your BF works in sanitation," mocking my job. I'm a surgeon. I work in sanitizing operating rooms between surgeries. I commented, "I sanitize ORs so surgeons like me can save lives." Then I added my medical degree and hospital badge. When her comments section exploded. Original post. I, 33 male, am an orthopedic surgeon. I finished my residency 2 years ago, and I've been on staff at a level 1 trauma center since. For anyone who doesn't know, orthopedic surgery is bones, joints, ligaments, the stuff that keeps you walking. I spent 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, 5 years of residency, and 1 fellowship year to get here. That's 14 years of training after high school. I still have $287,000 in student loans. I drive a 2019 Civic because that's what responsible debt management looks like when you owe the GDP of a small island nation. I say all that not to brag, but to establish context for what my girlfriend of 8 months decided to post on her Instagram to her 14K followers. She's a content creator. Mostly lifestyle stuff, outfit hauls, brunch reviews, day in my life content. She's been growing her platform and takes it very seriously, which I've always supported. I've held the camera for her. I pretended to be surprised when she surprised me with stuff on camera that she'd already told me about off camera. I've been a good sport. A few weeks ago, she was visiting me at the hospital. I was between surgeries and had about a 40-minute gap. She wanted to bring me lunch, which was sweet. She came up to the surgical floor, and I met her in the staff lounge area. I was in my scrubs, had my surgical cap on, and was carrying a bottle of the enzymatic cleaning solution we use between procedures. I've been helping the OR team turn over the room because we were short-staffed that day, and I'm not the kind of surgeon who thinks he's above wiping down a table. She took a photo of me holding the cleaning solution bottle and the container of sterile wipes. I didn't think anything of it. She takes photos of everything. 2 days later, I'm scrolling Instagram before bed, and I see her post. It's the photo of me, cropped so you can't see my hospital badge or the surgical floor behind me. Just me in scrubs, holding cleaning supplies. The caption read, "When your BF works in sanitation wastebasket faced with tears of joy, still love him though. Not everyone can be ambitious babe. LOL hashtag couple goals hashtag honest girlfriend hashtag love is love." 14,000 followers saw that. I read it 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding something. I checked the comments. Her friends, people I'd met at dinners, people who'd been to my apartment, were playing along. Her best friend commented, "Girl, you're too good for him, LMAO skull." Her sister commented, "At least he has a job, I guess," faced with tears of joy. Some random follower, "Queen, you deserve a man with goals, not a mop broom." She'd replied to almost every comment with laughing emojis. Not once did she correct anyone. Not once did she say, "Actually, he's a doctor," or "It's a joke." She let 14,000 people think she was dating a janitor, and she was being a good girlfriend by staying with him despite that. And look, there's nothing wrong with being a janitor. My grandfather was a custodian at a public school for 31 years. Hardest working man I've ever known. But that's not the point. The point is she deliberately misrepresented what I do to make herself look generous and superior for still loving me despite my low job. She manufactured a narrative where she was the charitable girlfriend sticking by her loser boyfriend. For content, for engagement. I sat there for about 20 minutes just staring at my phone. My first instinct was to call her and lose it, but I didn't. I took a screenshot of the post, every comment, and every reply she made. Then I did something I never do on social media. I commented, "Hey babe, just to clarify for everyone, I'm an orthopedic surgeon at hospital. The cleaning supplies in the photo are enzymatic surgical instrument cleaners I was using to help turn over in or between my cases. I sanitize operating rooms so surgeons like me can save lives. Here's my medical degree and hospital badge for anyone curious." And I attached 2 photos in the comment. One was my diploma. The other was my hospital ID badge with my title clearly visible, orthopedic surgery, attending physician. I put my phone down and went to sleep. I woke up to 94 notifications. Her post had gone semi-viral. Not millions of views viral, but her comments had jumped from about 80 to over 900 overnight. People were absolutely roasting her. Not just strangers, her own followers were turning. Girl, you try to clown a surgeon for engagement? Skull skull. This is the most cell phone I've ever seen on this app. He saves lives, and you make brunch content. Sit down. Ma'am, that man fixed his spines, and you mocked him for cleaning? Her best friend had deleted her comment. Her sister's comment was still up, but she'd added a reply under it. Wait, I thought she said he worked at a cleaning company? WTF. So she'd lied to her own sister about what I do. That one hit different. My girlfriend called me at 7:15 a.m. I was already at the hospital prepping for a 7:30 case, so I let it go to voicemail. She left a message that was half crying, half furious. Why would you do that? You humiliated me in front of my entire following. You could have just texted me privately. I would have taken it down. You didn't have to make me look like an idiot. I didn't respond until after my surgery. Around noon, I texted her, you deliberately cropped out my badge, lied about my career, and let hundreds of people mock me for 2 days. I corrected the record. If the truth makes you look bad, that's not my problem. She replied, you're being so dramatic. It was a joke. You have zero sense of humor. I said, cool. We should talk in person. She said, fine. Tonight. That conversation is update 1, and y'all are not ready. Update 1, 4 days later. All right, y'all asked for it. Here's what happened when we talked. She came to my apartment that evening. I could tell she'd been crying, but she walked in with this energy like SHE was the wrong party. She sat on the couch, crossed her arms, and said, I can't believe you embarrassed me like that. My DMs are a disaster. People are calling me a clout chaser. I said, people are calling you that because you clout chased. She said, it was content. You don't understand how social media works. Everything is exaggerated for engagement. I wasn't actually making fun of you. I said, you captioned it, not everyone can be ambitious. You hashtagged it honest girlfriend. You let your best friend say you were too good for me. Which part was the joke? She didn't have an answer for that. She just stared at me and then pivoted. Classic move. She said, you know what? Maybe I wouldn't have to exaggerate for content if you were more supportive of my platform. You never promote me. You never do couples content with me. I have to create storylines because you won't give me real ones. So now it was my fault she lied about my career because I didn't perform enough for her Instagram. Got it. I told her I needed a few days to think about things. She left upset, and honestly, I was exhausted. I'd done a 6-hour surgery that morning reconstructing a teenager's shattered femur from a car accident, and I just didn't have the bandwidth to argue about Instagram captions. Over the next 2 days, something happened that I didn't expect. Her post was still up. She hadn't deleted it. The comments were now over 1,500, and the ratio was brutal. Easily 90% people roasting her. But she left it up. I couldn't figure out why until my buddy, who also follows her, texted me, bro, check her stories. She'd pivoted. She was doing a whole, I'm being cyberbullied arc in her Instagram stories. Screenshots of mean DMs, with no context of course. A tearful video about how one mistake was being used to destroy her. A text post that said, when your partner chooses public humiliation over a private conversation, broken heart, hashtag toxic relationships, hashtag mental health, hashtag be line. She was using MY correction of her lie as content. She turned herself into the victim of her own post. And it was working sort of. She gained about 2,000 followers from the drama. Some people were defending her. She made a joke and he publicly destroyed her. That's abusive. Imagine humiliating your girlfriend instead of talking to her. Men will embarrass you before they'll communicate. Meanwhile, my phone was blowing up from her family. Her mother called me and said, I will never forget this. You need to apologize publicly and tell everyone it was a joke. You're ruining her brand. She's worked so hard on this and you're destroying it because of your ego. Her brand. Her brand. Ma'am, your daughter posted a lie about my career to 14,000 strangers, and I'm the one with the ego? Her father sent me a text that just said, real men don't tear down their women in public. Handle your business privately. Sir, your daughter handled MY business publicly first. That's literally why we're here. Then her sister, the one who'd commented, at least he has a job, I guess, DM'd me. And this one was actually interesting. She said, hey, I owe you an apology. She told me you worked for a hospital cleaning company. I had no idea you were a doctor. She's been lying to all of us about your job for months. Months. She'd been telling her family, I worked in hospital sanitation for months. I asked the sister what exactly she told them. The sister said my girlfriend had described me as a hospital sanitation technician who was working his way up. She told them I made about $38,000 a year. She told them I had some college but didn't finish my degree. I make $340,000. I have a medical degree, a bachelor's, and a fellowship certificate. I have a wall in my home office with my diplomas that she has walked past hundreds of times. When I asked the sister why she thought my girlfriend would lie about this, the sister said something that connected a lot of dots. She doesn't like being with someone more successful than her. She had the same issue with her ex. He was a financial analyst, and she told everyone he worked at a bank as a teller. Pattern. This was a pattern. I sat with that information for a full day. Then I made my decision. I called her and told her we were done. Straightforward, no drama. I said, I found out you've been lying to your family about my career for months. You told them I work in sanitation and make $38,000. I can't be with someone who's ashamed of what I do and lies about it to make themselves feel better. The silence on the phone lasted about 8 seconds. Then she said, Who told you that? That's not true. I can explain. Just who told you that? I said it didn't matter who told me. She started crying and said I was throwing away our relationship over a misunderstanding. She said she'd been planning to tell them the truth eventually, and that she just hadn't found the right time. 8 months. She hadn't found the right time in 8 months. I said, There's nothing left to discuss. I wish you well. Please don't contact me. She did not take that well. But that's for update 2. What I will say is this. Between the post, the family lies, and the victim content arc, I realized I wasn't dating a person. I was dating a narrative. Everything was content. Everything was a storyline. And in every storyline, she needed to be the main character. The generous girlfriend with the humble boyfriend, the cyberbullied victim, the loyal partner with the ungrateful man. I was a prop. A well-educated, overworked, $287K in debt prop. Anyway, more soon. I have a hip replacement at 6 a.m. and I need to sleep. Update 2, 3 weeks later. Final update. I know this has been a ride, so let me close it out properly. After the breakup call, things escalated exactly how you'd expect from someone who turns everything into content. Within hours, she posted a story that said, When the person you loved chooses his pride over your heartbroken heart, with a sad filter and a song playing underneath. Vague enough to seem sympathetic. Specific enough that anyone following the drama knew it was about me. Over the next few days, she released a whole series of healing content. How to recover when the person you trusted betrays you. Signs you were in a toxic relationship and didn't know. When a man can't handle a strong woman. She was getting decent engagement too. The victim angle was her most successful content arc since we'd been together. I ignored all of it. I had patience to see and a life to live. But she wasn't done. About a week after the breakup, a colleague at the hospital forwarded me an email. Somebody had written to the hospital's patient relations department. Not the medical board, not HR, just the generic feedback inbox, saying that one of your surgeons has been publicly behaving unprofessionally on social media and creating a hostile online environment. No specific complaint, no patient issue, just a vague attempt to get me in trouble at work. The email came from a throwaway Gmail address, but the writing style was unmistakable. I'd proofread enough of her Instagram captions to recognize her voice. The way she overuses furthermore and puts everything in passive voice when she's trying to sound professional. I forwarded it to my department chief with a brief explanation. This is from my ex-girlfriend. Here's the context. I included screenshots of the original post, my comment, and the timeline. My chief, who's been practicing for 30 years and has seen everything, read it and said, This is a personal matter and has nothing to do with your clinical performance. I'll make sure admin knows it's not a legitimate complaint. Focus on your patients. That was it. Non-event. But the fact that she tried, that told me everything about where her head was at. She couldn't hurt me personally anymore, so she went after my livelihood. That's a specific kind of cruelty. Then came the financial play. About 10 days after the breakup, she texted me, from a new number since I'd blocked the old one, with a list of things she wanted returned or compensated for. The list included a $400 cologne set she'd given me for my birthday, $200 for meals she'd paid for during the relationship, a Bluetooth speaker she'd left at my apartment, which was actually mine. I'd bought it before we even met. And this was the best part, $1,200 for emotional distress and wasted time. I'm not making this up. She invoiced me for dating her. I forwarded the text to my lawyer buddy, who laughed for about 30 seconds straight and then said, "This has zero legal standing. Block the new number and move on." So I did. I also boxed up the cologne, which I never used because it smelled like a department store exploded, and the one hoodie she'd left at my place and mailed them to her parents' house with no note. I kept my own speaker. 2 days after the package arrived, her mother called me from a different number. I picked up because I didn't recognize it. She opened with, "You sent her things back in a box? Like she's nothing? You couldn't even hand-deliver them like a gentleman?" I said, "Ma'am, your daughter tried to get me fired from my job. I think a box is pretty civil." She went quiet. Then she said, "What are you talking about?" So she didn't know about the email. Interesting. I told her exactly what happened. I told her about the anonymous complaint to the hospital. I told her about the invoice for emotional distress. And then, because I was tired of being the villain in their family narrative, I told her the truth about everything. "Your daughter told you I work in hospital sanitation. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. She told you I make $38,000. I make $340,000. She told you I didn't finish college. I have a medical degree and a fellowship. She's been lying to you about who I am since the day we started dating, and she lied to 14,000 strangers about it too. I don't know why she does this, but I'm done being the person she diminishes to make herself feel bigger." The silence was long, really long. Then her mother said, "That can't be right." I said, "You're welcome to verify it. My name is on the hospital's physician directory. It's public." She hung up. I don't know what happened in that house after the call, but I can imagine. Because here's the thing about lying to your family for months. The truth doesn't just correct the record. It makes everyone question everything else you've ever told them. Now here's the part one didn't see coming. About a week and a half later, the sister reached out to me again. She'd been the only honest one in this whole situation, and I respected that. She told me that after the mother looked me up on the hospital directory and confirmed I was telling the truth, things got ugly at home. The mother confronted my ex about the lies. My ex apparently tried the same playbook, tears, deflection. "You don't understand." But the sisters said their mother wasn't having it this time, because it turned out my ex had also lied about her previous relationship. She'd told the family her ex was controlling, and that's why they broke up. But with this new context, the mother started questioning that story too. She called the ex's family and found out that the real reason they broke up was, wait for it, the exact same thing. She'd been publicly minimizing his career and lying to her family about what he did for a living. The financial analyst she told everyone was a bank teller. So the family had been sympathizing with her for years over a breakup that happened because she pulled the same stunt on someone else. That's not a mistake. That's a whole personality. The sister told me the fallout at home was significant. Trust was broken in a way that goes beyond romantic relationships. When you find out your daughter or sister has been systematically lying to your face about basic facts, not small exaggerations, but entire fabricated narratives, it changes how you hear everything they say going forward. The sister said she loved her, but she didn't trust her anymore, and she said it with the kind of tiredness that told me this had been building for a long time. I felt for the sister, honestly. She didn't ask for any of this. As for my ex's brand, her follower count spiked during the drama. Drama always drives follows, but her engagement cratered. Turns out people will follow you for the mess, but they won't trust you for product recommendations after they watch you lie in real time. She lost 2 small brand partnerships she'd been working on. Not because the brand saw the post, because someone in the comments tagged both brands and said, "Hey, you might want to look into who you're partnering with." The brands did their due diligence, saw the whole timeline, and quietly pulled out. That's not revenge. I didn't tag those brands. I didn't orchestrate any of that. That's just the internet doing what the internet does when you hand a story with a clear villain. She's still posting, still making content. Last I checked, and I only checked because a friend sent me a screenshot. She's rebranded slightly. More self-improvement content. Growing from my mistakes. Learning to love myself first. Whether that's genuine growth or just a new content angle, I honestly don't know, and it's not my problem anymore. Me? I'm good. Genuinely. I'm working. I'm operating. Last week, I did a total knee replacement on a 72-year-old retired teacher who hadn't been able to walk without pain for 3 years. When she stood up in physical therapy for the first time post-op and started crying, her daughter hugged me and said, "You gave us our mom back." That's what I do. That's what she reduced to a punchline for engagement metrics. I'm not dating anyone right now, and I'm not in a rush. I will say this, though. The next person I'm with is going to know exactly what I do, and they're going to be proud of it. Not because a surgeon is impressive. Every job is impressive when you do it with integrity, but because they'll respect the work the way I respect it. And they sure as hell won't crop out my badge to get laughs from strangers. My student loans are still $287,000. My Civic still runs great. My wall of diplomas isn't going anywhere. And next time someone asks what I do for a living, I'm going to say exactly what I said in that Instagram comment. I sanitize operating rooms so surgeons like me can save lives. Thanks for following this mess, everyone. I'm out. Got an early case tomorrow. A college pitcher with a torn rotator cuff who wants to make it back for spring season. That kid's dream is sitting on my operating table at 6 a.m. I don't plan on letting him down.